All right, I think we're good. At least I hope we are. OBS says we're streaming, so I'm going to trust it. Hello, everyone. This is Chris Ingerson, and it is May 2nd, and this is the May 2nd TextQuest Devstream. All right, so today we are going to be continuing our experimentation with text effects. Specifically, I think the goal for today is to have a text effect that's kind of like a grumble. I'm not entirely sure how else to phrase it, but essentially, when you talk with a certain character, I would like their words, or I guess really their letters, to sort of wiggle up and down and side to side a little bit, sort of like their really big, intimidating thing going, which is, a great sound effect. Mostly, I just want to get that sort of sense across that their words are not eloquent or very well thought out. They're just kind of letting them fall out as they talk, much like I do. But to show you current state of things, let's go ahead and we're going to say read. So this is our stealing effect. It still needs to be optimized. I haven't had time to really take a crack at that yet. But we can see that the S word, or the S character, is basically being stolen. So you cannot use specific S words, or any word with the word S. Any word with the letter S. I don't know why I keep saying word when I mean a character in it. So, for example, C comes off as E, all that fun stuff. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop that. And then I'm going to go ahead and get rid of our modifiers. None right here and none right here. That way we don't get anything really weird. Probably should have a dash in here. Make it ignore chars. Alright. Now, what we're going to be doing isn't actually a modifier, so we don't need to worry about that. It's going to be a text effect. And text effects are less about affecting the back end, so the actual strings that are being parsed out or examined or displayed, and more about affecting the actual visual representation of the string being displayed. That's what a text effect is. What's driving those characters being stolen, basically. So let's go over here. Part of the challenge with coming up with a character grumble type thing is that all characters are going to also have another text effect, which is this. I should have maximize on play, shouldn't I? So, which is this sort of typewriter type effect. So I'll say like ask about game. So you can see that it sort of fills everything in letter by letter. The idea behind that is that when you're talking with someone, you don't get to see everything that they're saying right away. You have to wait till they make it through their entire sentence. So by having the characters show up in that sort of order, not all at once, it just makes it feel more like it's talking. But because we have this one effect being applied, it means that we have to have this effect be applied. Let's ask about, I think I can say rock, can't I? Not rocks, rock. So we're going to have this text effect, which is the typewriter effect, happen. But then we need to, after it's done, have the rumble happen. Or actually, maybe while it's going on, have the rumble happen. So that means that we're actually going to need to have potentially some type of enum to decide how or when a text effect should take place. So there could be as soon as it starts, after everything's visible. I'm not entirely sure. So let's go ahead and stop this. And currently our text effect is pretty barren on its own. It's just got a list of the labels that it's affecting. Let's go ahead and take a look at the section over here. So text effect. So we might add an enum, sort of like text effect timing, I guess. Text effect timing. And this is just going to be an enum that has probably immediate, when active, and I guess when complete. That's going to be an awkward one to try and figure out, but we'll see what we can do. So, I'm going to make it derived from byte. It's going to be a enum, or an enum. Text quest. Why does the T never capitalize? I feel like my right shift key is just not that great on the first key that's pressed with it. Either way, so we're going to have timing would probably be instant, instant, which will be 0. Then active, maybe active only is going to be equal to something like 5. And we'll do one more. Probably call it, what do I want to call it? So instant is basically going to be, as soon as the input section is available, it's going to start applying this effect. Active only means that it's only going to do it when the text, or when the label associated with this is an active text section, which is similar to how we, actually not similar, it's the system that we decide, what book is active or what note is active at any given time. And finally, I was thinking there would be one that's like delayed, but I don't know how to say it exactly. I guess we'll just have it say delay, and we'll figure out if that's a good name later. So these are the 3 main timings that I'm thinking of. I think I'll cover most of my cases. So let's come back over here, and we're going to say public text effect timing is equal to, we'll say instant by default. Okay. Now, this is going to be interesting. So, with most of it's going to be actually fine. Instant and active only, I think we'll be able to do fairly well. The delay part is the annoying thing, because that means we'll need some sort of function and callback system that lets me know when we are done and or when we should activate. Same with active, I guess. Really, instant is the only easy one. We'll see how that ends up going, how that ends up turning out. So let's go ahead and let that compile. All right. And barring that, I'm also going to go ahead and go open the TextMesh Pro example scenes. We're going to take a look at one of their jumble scripts. Because we're essentially going to do something similar, except a little smoother, hopefully. All right, so let's go to standard assets, assets for TextMesh Pro, examples, scenes, and let's see, masking input field scroll bar. Okay, so we probably want this scene again, which is the jumble. And this is very similar to what I want to do. So I'd like to do something like this, but instead of having it be random necessarily, or rather instantly random like this, it's going to be a little smoother to give it more of a sort of low grumble, like a low bass vibration, basically, is what I was thinking of the movement being like. So we're going to do something similar to this, much like we did for our stealing effect, but it'll be done over time. So let's go ahead and let me open the script again, because we're probably going to be copying it. Okay, vertex jitter. And we're going to come back down here. Open up the cabin new. Alright, so vertex jitter. We're basically going to be doing the same thing in the sense that we have random points that it would vibrate to, but instead of being instant, so it's sort of teleporting all over the place, we'll probably have a random float duration of how long it should take to lerp between all of these things, and then we'll try to basically get that to lerp. That's going to be crazy. Hoi. Especially because it's per character. Hoi. Never an easy thing. Alright, so let's come back here, and let's see, so we have suggestions, modifiers, hold on. Where's my steel effect? Oh, I guess it's still in the test thing. That's right, because I'm going to eventually rewrite it. All right, well, good. So let's go ahead and create a folder down here then. This is going to be, what do I want to call it? Rumble, I guess. That seems fair. Oh man, I just realized that another tricky thing I'm going to have to do is, so I'm going to go talk to myself real quick. When you talk with a character, oh, actually, never mind. Okay, yeah, I don't know why I thought that would be right. So this rumble would only affect the actual dialogue. It's not going to affect the input. I was thinking for a second that it was going to affect my input, and I was going to say it should affect everything except for our carrot here. Then that would be super fun. But yeah, no, never mind. I don't think we have to worry about that. That's convenient. So let's come back over here. We have a rumble. So I'm going to create a C# script. Call it rumble effect. All right. Double click on this. Reload. All right. So it's going to be in the TextQuest namespace derived from text effect. And what did I need? Apply effect is the thing that's necessary. Okay. So we're going to say override apply effect. I hate that it does this throw new exception error. And then it tries to say using system at the top of the script. Sometimes I forget to catch that. But all right. Everything else is going to be largely the same, I think. So let's see. Do I need to do anything special on initialize? No, not really. We're just kind of getting our labels. So I guess no. See, that's the thing. Is timing is actually kind of not really that useful in the base text effect, but we'll leave it be for now, unless I decide to move it a little bit later. But for now, it's fine, I think. Okay. So I don't need to override initialize or deinitialize, at least not right now. So, although I might actually add labels. Crud. Should I? Hold on. Input section s dot active. That's not. Okay, that's weird. Gotta open up my input section class. Go to definition. Apply effects. Oh right, because it's not that. Ew. Hold on. It's actually we want text section, I think. Let me peek this. And it might actually not even be this. It might be our interactive text sections. And I think that's what it is. So we'll say interactive text section. Let's go to this definition. Hello, 18 Mark Wick. Welcome back. How have you been? Yep, nope, it's just this one. So it's interactive text section. Ah, wonderful. So I'm going to say public bool is active. Get return is active. All right. So we're actually going to need to change our initialize function on text effects. So what we want it to do is we're going to need to pass in actually a reference to the input section that it's affecting, basically. That way we can do specific things like detect when the interactive text section that this effect is associated with is active. Hooray! I love this. I love changing everything. Fortunately, it's actually not that bad, but it's just kind of going to be annoying. So I'll say protected, not private, protected. Input section. I guess we'll just call it section. I don't know what else to call it. And then we'll pass in section. And we'll say this dot section is equal to section. Aha. And then we'll do the same thing down here. Which of course means that I'm going to have to go back through and change some stuff because input section is equal to null. Because once I let that compile, we're gonna get some errors. Pulling teeth tomorrow. So, are you pulling teeth? Is that a metaphor for that you're pulling teeth, or are you getting your teeth pulled on? So, because most of those options aren't going to be fun. Actually, I would say probably all of them aren't really going to be that fun, but still. Yep, here we go. So, I'm just going to copy this and pretty much paste it everywhere. Paste. Why are you complaining? Oh, right. There we go. Ta-da. Okay. Let that compile again. I know we got another one, I think. Okay. So, that's the book section. We're going to have it pass this. Simple as that. And I'm guessing this one. This. Alright. Let that compile as well. Gonna 4 teeth. Oof. That's pretty brutal. Shazam. There we go. Well, at least you have nice weather. I think it's actually warmer over there than it is here. It's been in the 50s, low 50s at that, surprisingly, for the past couple of days here. Which is weird because it's, I was going to say April, but it's May. Alright. So that looks like it fixed everything. Hooray. So now we can go back to our Rumble class. Alright. Now, real quick, when do we actually call apply effects? I think we just do it right now when it's... Oh, actually, I guess it's varied, isn't it? That's actually convenient. Oh. Yeah. Okay. So, let's go to our... Where is it? There it is, Rumble Effect. I hate that TextQuest. I hate that Visual Studio does this sometimes. It just shows you the path instead of the actual script, and then you have to close it and open it up again, and then it's fine. I don't know why it does it. It's very annoying, though. Well, it would be pretty cold when it's, 1:30 a.m. That tends to be true. So hopefully you're keeping warm. Anyway, so apply effect. Right. Now, this is actually going to need to be in a coroutine. So we need to say using system.collections. Let's go down here. We're going to say private IEnumerator Rumble coroutine. Alright. Now, here, do I not have a... I really don't. But I guess I wouldn't need to. So, we're going to do an override on deinitialize. Alright. So we'll call base.deinitialize, and we'll also call stop all coroutines, so that we can stop this coroutine down here. And that means that we're going to basically do this while true, which I almost never do. Actually, this might be the first time in all of TextQuest that I do a while true loop. So that's going to be fun. Can't sleep. Well, just listen to the... I don't know, what's the opposite of buttery? I'm not coarse either. The wooden sounds of my voice. That'll put you to sleep. Okay, so let's take a look at our vertex jitter script, which we've looked at in the past. And we're gonna need to probably do something even more like the original vertex jitter script. So that's gonna be fun. Let's see here. I might real quick compile, but also take a look at the original example scene that we were going to use. See what those public variables drive in terms of animation. All the way back up here. Animating vertex attributes. Let's hit play. Oh no, no, we're in maximize on play. No! There you go. We gotta adjust this stuff, so I need to see the inspector. So angle multiplier can be okay, pretty ridiculous. So 1's probably actually a pretty good point. So speed multiplier. Huh. Animating actually much higher doesn't seem to be a thing. I don't think speed multiplier does anything. If it does, it's not noticeable. So that's interesting. So curve scale. This is just the total amount they can jiggle around, huh? This is kind of what I want, almost. It's not quite right. But it looks like this curve scale is just kind of allowing them to be offset, basically, more and more. So if I increase this, they'll jumble even more. Although, good God, that could be... Huh. That actually could be interesting if we, like, had it start out jumbled like that and then slowly brought it in, basically. Until it's... tame. Huh. That could be interesting. So if I do 0, does it just... Okay. Finish the layout on my CSGO map. That ran into a problem. Boss didn't make a route to walk, so I don't have a way of getting on a spot. You gotta love it when the bots can't figure out your map. Alright, so let's go back to our cabin. Alright. Come on. So we know that the curve scale is basically how far away it can get from the center. The speed multiplier seemingly does nothing. That's because it's not referenced, so it literally does nothing. And the angle multiplier is just how much of a wiggle it gets. So those are the two that we need to look at to figure out how we want to do it. That's going to be interesting. So, go ahead and go back over here. Okay. I think we're going to... We're basically going to be doing the same thing. So I'm going to end up copying and pasting a lot of this code for now, and then I'll have to clean it up a little bit later. Ugh, it's so painful to do it this way. But I might try to actually clean it up as we go along this time, unlike the steel effect, just so I can try to wrangle it in and get a better feeling for it. So... Oh no! Oh no! Hosting! Now I have to look cool! Okay. Well, thank you, William. Let me go ahead and start getting things over here. So to give you a hint of what we're doing, we are trying to basically get vertex animation on our individual text characters to make it look fun. And basically, let's go ahead and let that compile actually and show you what I'm talking about. Man, yeah, that is a lot of people. That's a lot of people to disappoint. So basically, we're working on what I call text effects, which are sort of special ways to animate or do vertex animation on characters. So things like ask about game, this sort of typewriter effect, and we're going to work on a jumble effect basically to make these characters sort of jump around like it's a heavy, giant troll talking to you. Let's go ahead and let that go. Get back to our coding, and this is going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of hemming and hawing, and trying to get things to work properly. Because we're going to be basically taking down some messy code and cleaning it up, trying to make it look good. Which is, something that I just love to do. So, okay. So, we don't need to animate vertex colors, but we are going to basically copy a lot of this stuff down. So, we'll go ahead and say labels for int I equals 0, I is less than labels.count, I plus plus. We're going to force all of our TextMesh Pro labels to update. So we'll say labels I.forceMesh update. You have a game idea, 18 Mark Wick? What is it? Okay. And this is going to be fun too. So we're going to have a list of text infos. So we're going to need list. Oh, right, I'm not using system.collections.generic here. Using system.collections.generic. So not that, but this list. And then of course I immediately forget what it is. So TM Pro. Man, I'm not using TM Pro either. This is what happens. I got like flustered. Got so many people watching, and then I always feel bad. I'm like, no, it's the worst time for so many people to watch. Oh well. TMP underscore text info. This is basically a list of all of the vertex information for all of our labels. So we'll call it label info equals new. And we're going to do the same thing. I wonder, actually, you know what? I should just move this above here, shouldn't I? Let's go ahead and order this before the for list, and then we'll just add it after, or while we're doing this force update. So we'll say label info dot add labels of I dot text info. All right, that gets rid of that, so we don't have to worry about it. Matrix 4x4. This is gonna. I hate doing 4x4 matrix stuff, but we're gonna have to do so. It's about a survival block-shaped world, many enemies, day and night, mining and killing. I'll call it Mineshaft original. That's true. I don't think a game like that has ever been done. Okay, we don't care about has text changed. We're not gonna do anything with that yet. Create an array which contains pre-computed angle ranges and speeds for a bunch of characters. And don't need to do anything crazy there. I think what we're going to do basically is try to get this to work with our text effect system, and then we'll try to optimize it. So let's see here. Vertex information, cache mention info. Right. So this is going to be fun too. This is essentially going to be the same thing, but it's going to be a list of text mesh infos or TMP mesh info arrays. So which, now that I think about it, again, could probably be done up here. So let's go ahead and say list TMP mesh info. And we'll call it cached mesh info is equal to new list. It basically needs this information so that it knows where to do all the rumbling around. If we didn't do it like that, it would kind of have free-form wandering for the characters. Alright, so again we're going to do something similar where we're just going to say, right, this is a list of arrays. say cached mesh info dot add label info. We'll just do labels. I can't type. Labels of I, not iOS. Dot text info. All right, and dot copy mesh info vertex data. There we go. All right, got that stored. Those will all be stored. We'll have to retrieve them by index, which is fine. We're not going to have any direct info. Let's go ahead and keep that comment there just for fun. All right. So we're almost through, I think. We'll find out. Again, we don't care about the text changing because that's not something that can really happen. At least not, or it shouldn't happen anyway. Okay, so we have our while true. So again, we're going to have to do a for loop here, which is really just great because I have a nested for loop. Yay! I have two nested for loops. Great. Well, because I'm insane and I like to have structure, I'm going to rename these things. So they're going to be J. And then you're going to be J, because I don't like going backwards. So I didn't want to have a K loop wrapping a J loop. Let's go ahead and say this. Oh, what happened here? There we go. All right. So now I'm going to do for int I equals 0. I is less than labels.count. I plus plus. Yarg. Da, 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 da. Go all the way down here, and I'm going to do this. All right. So now everything should be contained inside of this loop that's looking at all of our labels, which most of the time is really only going to be one label, but you know, it's good to have a reference to everything that's necessary. All right. So this is going to be text info. So that's going to be label info, I believe. So label info of I. Character count. All right. Char info is going to be again label info of I. Character info J. That's good. I think it's just going to be a lot of label info of I replacing here. So let's go ahead and do that. Cached mesh info. Right. Right. Hey. So this is actually going to be of I, then of material index.vertices. Okay. And, the curve scale stuff. All right. Well, for now, again, we'll go ahead and just copy that verbatim, which I hate doing, but I'm not above admitting that I don't quite know everything about what I'm doing right now. So speed multiplier I do know is not a thing, although actually I should have that in there because I will eventually need it. Okay, let's go ahead and rename these so they use proper camel case. Curve scale and all right. Nope, almost. Hold on. There we are. Almost forgot. Okay. And oh dear. Level. Oh, never mind. Okay, that's not that bad. I just have to say labels of I. Ta-da! All right, I think we are good. All right. Well, thank you for stopping by, 18 Markwick. See you next time. Try to get some sleep. So let's see if that worked, which is going to be fun. Let's go to speak section. I should have. Okay. Hold on. Should have a list of text effects that are visible. Why aren't they there? Let's see. Output modifier. Oh, they're on the output modifiers. Oh. Well, that's not necessarily always going to be the case, now is it? So, hooray! We get to edit our input sections. Yay! I go over here. Mostly we just, oh yeah, right there, text effect, input. Yeah. Oh, we know that's applied effects, right. Yeah. All right. So what to do here? I guess we'll just do a public. Could do an array. Do I really care about making it a list? I don't think I'm going to need to search through it, so we'll make it an array. We'll say text effect, not text editor. Text effect. Make it an array. I guess we'll just call it text effects. Is equal to new text effect 0. All right. And I suppose that means that we're always going to need to spawn in these text effects now, won't we? So just to get a look at this stuff. Initialize text effects. So what happens in initialize text effects? And I think that's fine, actually. Okay, so yeah. Let's go ahead and say... geez, I don't have a good input section that this can be used to test on. I guess I'll just do it in my speak section for now. So this is going to be fun. And let's see, initialize. Come down here, and we'll say initialize text effects, and then we'll just say pass in text effects. Okay, so that should have it actually spawn all of the text effects that we're about to assign. Shazam! Compile. I command you. There we go. And text effects. Oh man, it's at the top. Gross! Why is it at the top? I really don't want it to be at the top. Oh, I don't have much of a choice, do I? Input section. Nope. Well, that's disappointing. Alright. So let's go ahead and add that. Let's go ahead and... Oh, I hate doing that. What is happening there? That was weird. Alright, let's go to our other splash fade. Man, I wish I knew why it takes so long to transition between scenes. I wonder if it has something to do with procedural materials. It seems like that would be the only thing I can think of, is that it has to garbage collect, basically. But that's really weird. Alright, go ahead and turn this off so it's not distracting anyone. And we're going to make a new text effect. We'll call this text effect dash rumble. And we'll make it 0 by 0. And then we'll just go ahead and drag that on there. Rumble effect. It's going to be instant. We'll just leave everything at 1. Or I guess this one was like at 25, I think, by default, but that's fine. Where is my text effect? Oh, it's probably not got anything right here. So we'll go ahead and say sections. Here we are. So text effect rumble. Put that in there. And then we can go back to our scene. Aha! Sure, why not? Alright. So now that we have that, we can select our prefab again, speak section. We're going to have one text effect. Let's go ahead and drag on rumble. And let's see what happens. I think I do have one quick thing to fix. Here's my rumble effect. Here we are. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and grab this. Basically just do that. Hit save, and then apply effect is just going to call start coroutine. Rumble coroutine. Sweet. So, let's pray to the number gods that it works. Actually, I don't know why I would pray to the number gods. They clearly hate me. So, I'm going to pray to, I don't know, the coding gods. Surely John Carmack will hear me. Okay, let's see how this looks. So, if this works out, we should see it affect it as soon as we start. So, not read. Ask about rocks. Okay, well that didn't Didn't seem to do anything. I will check to make sure that it's actually applied. Even. So let's double click on this. Hey, come on. Have to make it through all of our stuff. Okay. So the effect is, it's there, but I don't think it's doing anything. So, okay. Oh, you know what it is? I don't think I actually called apply effects. So if I peek this real quick. Okay, so no, that's why. That means that I'm going to go ahead and say applied effects. I can't do it that way. So we're going to make it gross for now. Int I equals 0, I is less than applied effects, count, I plus plus. I could have sworn actually that I have something for this. Initialize, deinitialize, deinitialize effects. Apparently I don't. Okay, well, there we go. Whatever. So we're going to say applied effects of I dot apply effect. Ta-da! And for this we're going to probably want to call deinitialize effects. That should clean it up at the very least. Okay, good. Yep, okay. That should do it. So let's see what happens. Oh, and my keyboard switched over to Japanese for some reason. As I say, took 2 clicks. It was stubborn. It wanted to stay in Japanese mode for some reason. No idea. Alright, come over here. Ask about game. That's exactly what I wanted. That's interesting. I wonder if it's because it's probably trying to apply that effect as soon as it starts when there's nothing there. Well. Okay. That's not quite what I was hoping for. I'm actually kind of curious. Oh. Oh no. That's not good. Hold on. Oh, that could potentially be a problem anyway. Let's insult self, and let's get a couple of things in here. Examine self. Okay, never mind. Whew. I was a little worried that for some reason the animation was basically always going to be here, no matter how much of this I dragged around. And that would obviously not work because anytime I would try to drag it around to, see what else I had typed out or something, that text would just be visible. So, okay, so well, we got the jittering. We just don't have it in. We don't have it happening in the right spot. So that's interesting. Let's try to figure that out. I'm not entirely sure what to do here, actually. Maybe I should. So I have real characters. What if I move this to after that? Just out of curiosity. If we move that there. Because then it won't initialize those variables in a weird spot. And if that's the case, that does mean that we're going to have to do that whole if the text is changed, force an update. So that's going to be fun. Let's go ahead and play. Alright. So ask about game. Okay, so yeah, it was that. It needs to basically have... man, that's kind of a shame. So it needs to have all of the text in place if I want it to look right. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do that text refresh stuff. So let's try to get the text refresh working actually then. Because I'm kind of curious as to why it didn't do any sort of vertex animation until it was complete. Because by all rights, it should have actually applied as soon as this all was instantiated, as soon as anything like came up, even if the characters hadn't all been spelled out yet. But it didn't do that. It was smooth until it finished, and then it just all snapped to the center. What to do with that then? Well, first off, I'm kind of curious to tweak these, so let's go ahead and go to UI, view, input, root, output, scroll area, and speak section. Okay, let's shorten this down. So we can shorten this to, I don't know, 6. It's not bad. Don't have enough space to work. It's hard to see everything. So angle multiplier, we make that like 5 and we get some pretty nasty jiggle. 1 might actually be plenty. Actually 0 is pretty nice because that gets us closer to almost like a ghost is saying this actually. Which isn't quite the goal I was going for. The goal was to have it be more like lethargic. I don't know how to describe it. It's like what you would imagine the words coming from a giant troll would look like, which is such a weird thing to try and picture. Okay. Well, let's get our curve scale back up to there. And just for fun. Oh man. If I were a dick, I would just have this be a thing that you have to soldier through at some point. That's just unfair though. No one can read that. Okay. I will not be that mean. So it looks like 25 is probably the limit on what the jitter should be. I feel like much beyond that, and if someone has difficulty reading, they wouldn't be able to actually read it. For example, kids might have difficulty reading something that's really jumbling way more than this. I don't base that on any empirical observations, but I assume that if it gets too jittery, it would be hard to read. So, okay, I'm just kind of messing with my settings here to get an idea of what would look good. Definitely not that. So I'm thinking 1, maybe actually 2 with a curve scale of... That's actually not bad. So 0 angle, which means that the characters won't rotate, and a curve scale of 5 degrees, which means, or not 5 degrees, I guess just 5 pixels, which means that the characters will only jumble slightly. Because that's actually fine. Let's try to get speed multiplier working. And once we get that working, we'll try to get the refreshing happening. That way it can have that rumble while it speaks, not just after it's done talking. Because it is kind of weird to have it be typed out smoothly and then just start jumbling. I feel like that's not. So let's ask about. I had a third thing and I don't remember. Did I say ask about test? Nope. Okay. Ask about self? Nope. Okay. Ask about game. I had 3 things, but I forgot what it was. So, again, it's weird that it's smooth and then it breaks. So we just keep seeing that. It really should be jumbling as it types. Alright, so speed is the next thing. After we go ahead and change the rumble a little bit, we'll have it be 0 and 5. So it's a slight rumble. And then we'll need to do a speed multiplier, which is going to be interesting. I wonder if the speed multiplier should be the wait for seconds. Or it's entirely possible, actually. Where is it? Rumble effect. It's entirely possible that the speed multiplier is not actually used in the original source code. I mean, it wasn't used in the original source code. But it could be that they were originally planning to do some kind of lerping, and then they didn't, because it's kind of just instant right now. Um, so, interesting. This is just pre-computed ranges. Like these are hard-coded values. Interesting. I wonder why. Okay, I guess maybe this is what the speed multiplier was originally going to be used for. Um, Same with the angle range. It seems like that's kind of just arbitrarily decided. So we might, let's expose those, see what we can get from that. So, I don't like to have 1.0s, I just like to have 1Fs. So we're going to have public vector 2, I guess we'll call it angle range, is equal to new vector 2 between 0f and 5f. Or maybe 10 and 25, just so that it's sort of in better parity with whatever was already in here. And then a speed range of 1 to 3. So public vector 2 speed range is equal to new vector 2, 1, and 3f. So we'll take out speed multiplier. I guess we'll actually see where curve or angle multiplier is used. No, it's used in the matrix offset. Ugh! Oh, that's something I don't really want to touch. At least not till I have a better grasp on matrices. 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 I think it's matrices, technically. Either way. So let's go ahead and just change this to random.range angle range.x and then angle range.y. Angle range. Oh, no. Speed range. That time. Speed range.y. Speed range.x. And then let's go ahead and see what that ends up looking like. Matrices. I think that's the highly scientific term. Of course, if you really want to sound smart, you say matrices. That's what it is. By the way, Garrett, I completely forgot to say hi to you because I was overwhelmed by the amount of people who came in. Sorry. How are you, Garrett? Okay, so let's take a look at this. Go ahead and say ask about rocks. Okay, and then let's go ahead and navigate to it real quick. Input root, input scroll area, speak section. All right, let's try changing these. So 0 and 50. It might not actually matter after it starts, does it? Nope. It kind of just does it. Okay. So that means I have to do it before I even play. That's fair. So let's try to make it like 0 to 50. And we'll leave it at that. We'll see what speed range does next. Come on. Alright. So we're going to say, let's go out game. I don't really notice anything different there. Alright. What was it? 10 and 25. Let's do a speed range of 1 and 30. Surely that will be noticeable. I'm going to be very disappointed if those don't actually do anything. So, ask about rocks. It doesn't seem to do anything. It just... What the heck? Okay, I don't... Is that stuff even used? That's why I don't like copy and paste, even if I'm just trying to figure it out. Find all references. I mean, it's used, but I don't know. It doesn't seem to really affect anything, which is what's really weird about it. Um, it must be doing some magic numbers math that's making it basically not really that responsive, um, which is a shame. Yeah, it does look like it has a lot of hard-coded values. Ugh. Although the jitter offset here is, um, so that must be its maximum possible range, huh? So we could expose that, um, hopefully. So we'll say public vector to rumble range, I guess. Rumble range is equal to new vector 2, and it was at negative 0.25, I believe, and 2.5, or 0.25. Alright, take a look at that. We're going to replace this with, same thing, rumble range dot x dot z, the one character that can't be used. Rumble range dot y. Okay, same thing over here. Alright. Actually, you know what? I bet I could probably break that out into two separate things, can't I? One for the range x, or the x range, one for the y range. So let's go ahead and do that. Copy this, paste it in. Let's rename that to rumble range. We'll say rumble x range. Rumble range x. I hate doing two capital letters right next to each other. It always just bugs me. All right, so come back down here. Oh, okay. Okay. X and X. All right. Let that compile. That stuff we should be able to adjust live, since it's using that every frame. So we can actually fine tune that one. Hopefully get something interesting out of it. Go ahead and play. I was gonna say interact, but that's not what I need to do. Ask about. All right, now let's take a look at that stuff. Okay. Let's do -1, and oh, that's just its offsets. Okay. I think. I saw it shift over when I made that change, but I haven't seen it move since then. -1. Okay, no, it is doing something. It's just, yeah, we didn't quite notice it. So if I increase this is just the actual. That's weird. So the rumble range is actually doing what I thought the angle range would do. But I guess that actually doesn't make sense because the angle range would be its rotation, which I've set to 0. Okay, that all makes sense. That's why the angle range wasn't doing anything. Duh. I feel stupid. So that means that this rumble range could be theoretically increased to, I don't know, 10. Oops. Interesting. So is this what our curve scale is basically responding to? Yes. Okay, so that's kind of pointless. So the curve scale is just a float representation of a vector 2, essentially, because they were just modifying that value by the float. Okay. Well, I'll still keep it exposed. It makes more sense for me to have these fine-tuned controls over here, because I could, change our curve scale to 0, which just makes it perfectly still, and it's super weird to see that, actually. Huh. That would almost be a really, really good, like, horror theme. It's all jumbly until just it stops. Oh, that would be really cool, actually. That could actually be pretty interesting as a potential game mechanic. Well, less game mechanic, more set piece. But still, let's bump it up to like 0.1. And I think this is basically what it would. This is almost what it was originally before we started adjusting those values. Okay. Take a quick drink. Okay. So now that we have that exposed, I wonder if we can affect the speed. Probably not. I don't think there's really any speed to be had here. It's just instantly twitching, basically. So I think the next thing we're going to do is try to implement that text rebuild. So if the text changes, then we'll force a rebuild and try to recalculate everything. So let's take a look at our vertex jitter stuff. Back here, and we're going to be looking at has text changed. And let's see, where else has this been used? Good, that was the only spot. Very fortunate. And I suppose we'll have to do this. Oy. That's pretty brutal. Wait. We might not actually have to. Well, nope, I lied. No, we're going to want to do that anyway. I was going to say that I can just do it through the speak section, but that doesn't make sense because the rumble effect might be used on non-speak sections, so I need to... Each text effect needs to basically be self-contained enough that it could be used on any input section, not just, whenever people are talking or whenever I have people reading books or anything like that. It needs to actually be self-contained. So... Okay. Let's see here. Vertex jitter. Text changed is equal to true. So we just put this at the top of our while true. Alright. So. Alright. I have to do that, won't I? Say it equals false. Alright. We'll come up here and we'll say has text changed equals true. Which is stupid. That's pointless because I will have already just done all of that stuff, so I don't see why I would want to declare it true there. So we are going to want to have this, the TextMesh Pro events system. On text changed, let's go ahead and grab that, pull that over here to rumble effect, and we're going to put that here. We'll make it private. Work with me here. Private. On text changed. Not changed. Changed. Oof. Oh. That's painful. Okay. Ha. Wonderful. So I guess I need to do... if labels.contains, this is going to be super weird. I guess I'll try casting it. Text. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm hoping it will. OBJ. Okay. And then we'll just say has text changed is equal to true. I love hooking into TextMesh Pro's event system. Actually, I complain, but it's really a cool thing. I mean, being able to detect when the text label has actually changed. But I think I'm just going to have to move this stuff into our initialize and deinitialize functions. So let's go back to rumble effect. I'm going to say remove on text changed. And then we'll have to come over here to override, initialize. Oh, good. Fortunately, I don't have to do anything super special. Override, initialize again. thing. Boom and boom. Okay, we're almost done. And last thing is going to be basically another for loop like this, isn't it? Yeah, pretty much. Cache mesh info. Cache mesh info. So we're just going to have this for loop. It's not going to be exactly the same, but it's going to be very similar. We're going to get rid of this stuff. And we'll just say cache mesh info of I. Oh, that's right. I was just trying to add it. Is equal to labels of I dot text info. Okay, yep. So that should all be good. And we can get rid of you. All right. So hopefully this will actually let us get all that vertex animation stuff without having to let it finish running. So I'm trying to say your name. Sorry. Toleron Delphine. Toleron Delphine? Is it possible to see the game running? What is this? Do you think this is a game dev stream? Yes. Yes. Let me test this real quick, and I will show off the intro section of the game as it is right now. So, let's see if this works. Ask about game. Well, it didn't really... Oh, wait. Hold on. Slight change. I gotta fix that real quick. Where are you? Alright. I gotta move this back. And then I will show you the intro. Once this compiles and we test, I will show you the intro. But yes, to give you a quick spiel. So this is TextQuest. It is a first-person text-based adventure where everything in the world is made up of text. So grass is the word grass, repeating along the ground. Walls say the word wall. Giant spiders say giant spider. And you interact with everything through a text parser. So think Zork, but updated for the modern world. So let's go ahead and say, ask about game. Okay, I mean, it works. I don't know why it doesn't jitter, though, at the very beginning. It's weird. But it's no longer getting smushed into the center, so hooray! Alright, and because I promised I would show you guys, let's go to our splash fade. I like to start from the very beginning. Alright, it takes an eternity for me to open the scene for some reason. Alright, let's go ahead and turn you off. And alright. Let's hope this works. I actually haven't tried playing the game from this splash screen in a while. Alright. Let's click through all of our logos. Oh, I got a hiccup. Okay. I was loading the planes, no wonder. Still gotta work on that. I don't know why there's a hiccup whenever you load the scene. Let's type start. Let's do a new game. My name is... It's Chris. Apparently it's Kurtz, so I'm going to be Kurz for now, because I can't type tonight. We'll do normal mode. I am right-handed, and my favorite color is green. So, you know, half of the information you need to get my credit card. I know, I was worried for a second there. It took longer than it should have. Oh, that's right, because it had to reload the entire level, so that makes sense. I'm going to say start. Oh no. This blue means that we have a global illumination issue, so that's fun. Well, in any case, welcome to TextQuest. As you can see, everything is made up of text. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and run through here. Man, the blue is pretty nasty. This is going to be fun. I bet we get it. I guess blue is the tint, but... Oh my. Have I not updated this since I updated to 5.6? Normally the level is not this blue. Alright. So the basic premise is that you go to see the king one day, and then an old wizard shows up, turns him to stone. I really do need some music. This would be a lot more dramatic with music. However, I am not a musician, and I cannot compose music to save my life. But The main premise is that there hasn't been a mainstream text-based adventure in forever, as far as I can remember. At least not one that's parser-based. Oh wow, nice. That actually fixed, I think, some of our global illumination issues. Oh yeah, and we can come up here to interact with the king. What should I say to the king? Because I can do pretty much a lot of different types of verbs, a lot of different types of nouns. So let's start with examining the king. The king has been turned to stone by dark magic. Let's find a way to return him to normal. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to think what else could we do. We could try eating the king, but he probably wouldn't agree with us. So check out oral and hello, Rystyle. 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 New people, and I can't say your names. I'm so sorry. I always feel bad whenever I can't pronounce people's names properly. I don't think I've heard of oral. I mean, I've heard of the word oral, which funny means sound. I get it. But I've not heard of oral. Let's see. So let's go ahead and read this. Does this work? Yes, it still works. Our ASCII art stuff. So yeah, this is basically the premise. You can interact with everything. Type out whatever you want. You can try to eat the note. You can try to you can examine it. You can take the note. It'll be in your inventory. You can drop it. Drop the note. You can take the note back, and it caches it. And the parser is what I call a smart parser because it tries to basically make a bunch of amends for what old parsers never really did. So, when you interact with something, for example, this door, I can say open. It knows that I mean open the door. I can say close door, and it will also do so. So it's just an interesting thing to work around with parser stuff. I feel like that's an avenue that hasn't really been explored in adventure games in a long time. So trying to have this very intuitive game in a genre that is by its nature kind of unintuitive is a fun challenge to really design around. But all this blue, this global illumination, I guess I really need to fix that issue. It's been around forever, and I thought I got rid of it, but it is back in force, and it's really blue. This is actually not as bad as it used to be. It used to be like sickly green, and it was really nasty that time, but blue is at least somewhat pleasing. Can we steal the stone stuff of the king? We can try to take him, but moving him might shatter him. We could also try hitting him. Try hitting him again. Okay, that's fine. And of course, my favorite is to insult everything. So you can insult every single thing in the game. Just why not? But it's fun to work on the game. I do wish that it was. I wish I could finish it faster, but it's hard to do this when you have a full-time job. So, but yeah, if you guys are curious, the demo is actually available on the website. I really should get a chat bot so I can post this stuff super quick. But there's a link below the video. Although I guess if William is hosting me, I should probably do it there. So hold on. So there's a free demo up on the website. That's the first 2 levels of the game. And that demo is current as of November of last year. So it's a little old now, but it's got most of the stuff in there. Oh yeah, I forgot it takes an eternity to stop playing sometimes. Anyway, let's go back to the cabin. Gotta get back to work. Gotta get my fun text effects working. Basically erased and mashed together. Okay. Let me check that out actually. Oral. That's just giving me a lot of oral definitions. Huh. Oh, I'll have to check that out later. Anyway, back to work. So let's go ahead and pull up our speak section. We are applying the effect there, but why doesn't it happen? we call apply effect. Let's go to definition. Oh, right. That's going to do it down here, which should start the rumble coroutine. Let me go ahead and debug to make sure that we're actually getting called here. I mean, it should be. It's instantiated. It's not doing it at the very end. It's very weird. But I guess while this is compiling, so a little bit of backstory on TextQuest. It's, like I said, a first-person text-based adventure, and I've been working on it for a little over 3.5 years almost now. Doing all of the programming, art, design, what little sound effects I can to. Yeah, I knew I had this. That's File, Advanced Save Options, and Windows. There we go. And I've basically just been trying to work on it as much as I can while working full time because of my crippling addiction to food and shelter. My goal is to have it done by next year, but we're about 60% done. Finally caught up to where I was about a year and a half ago before I started doing a major refit to make everything nice and pretty and run much better, and do stuff like vertex animation on the text. Auralfractals.net. I shall check that out real quick. And then I will ask about rocks. So yeah, it starts right away, but it just doesn't start animating, which is really weird. Huh, a fractal music generator. That's pretty cool. That would be interesting, actually. So something that we've not it's not completely wrapped up, but have been working on basically for the past month, I would say, is Markov chains. So, for example, with books, you can read books and you'll get little ASCII. Oh, that was a null reference. Hold on. Oh, crap. Okay. Okay, hold on. I think I know what happened there. Let's come back to our. Would it just be in text effect? Nope, it's probably in text sections, isn't it? Let's go to definition. Go to definition here. If effects does not equal null. And crud. Okay, hold on. What the? Oh, right, it's my input section. Duh. That's why I couldn't find it. Final references, speak section. Huh. And why did you freak out? Weird. It threw a null reference in an area that I'm not seeing before. Yeah, as far as music goes, I really do need to get a composer who's a dedicated composer. I just I always feel bad because I've worked with composers in the past, not necessarily on TextQuest, but on other games, and they move so fast. They get their work done just so fast, and I always feel bad whenever I see it, or whenever I see that they just like, here's your song that you wanted, and it's only been like a week. I'm like, no, no, I need you to work on that for like a month because how else am I going to keep up with you? Final references. Let's see what is going on here. Something's going on that's very odd. It must be this. I guess I should just wrap this in a if effects doesn't equal null. That would explain it. Let's see if that does anything then. But yeah, part of the challenge with audio composition with someone like me is that I'm kind of, a nice way of putting it is that I'm very involved, and probably a more accurate way of saying it is that I'm kind of overbearing. Namely, I would like the music to fit the theme of the game, which is, everything spelling everything. So I would like the music to actually say something. And I don't mean like it must speak to your soul. I mean like it should actually, with the notes, spell things out. And that is a tall order considering you have 5 letters to work with. Maybe some more if you want to make like a sharp symbol an H, but there's a very limited amount of words you can do with that. Um, there it is. So this is a thing we've been working on for a mechanic is Markov chain generated books. These books are generated by Moby Dick, basically. We broke that out into Markov chains. And one of the things that would be cool as far as the subject of aural fractals and sort of randomized music is a Markov generated soundtrack. Not for maybe the entire game, but for one level would be interesting. Oh, right, turn page. Actually, is that going to snap me back if I turn back? Okay, good. But that's an idea that I've toyed with. I don't know how to do it, but it would be something that would be interesting. Basically, like plugging in, I don't know, Beethoven and decompiling it down to the individual notes and chords, then trying to play those back in sequence that doesn't sound terrible. But that would probably be a bit of a challenge, I think. At any rate, let's go ahead and go back here. Let's type ask about. Actually, I think I can say talk about, can't I? Talk about rocks. Why does it start late? That's so weird. Maybe that's because it doesn't actually change. No, that doesn't make sense. I'm willing to bet that if we took out that chunk of code that we added to basically track when it's being changed, it would do the center alignment stuff again. Wouldn't be bad for ambient background music. That's true. I'll have to give it a listen to see what it cranks out. Because for the most part, the sound design in the game is actually very, I guess you would say sparse. I don't know what the term is. Where I guess I would just say ambient. The point is that most of the levels are actually devoid of music. There's a natural ambience to the world, like wind blowing, birds chirping, water rushing, all that stuff. But as you enter new areas, you'll be treated to musical cues. Basically, I think they're called reverse leitmotifs or leitmotifs. I don't know. I think it's leitmotif. Similar to something like Legend of Zelda, when you enter a new level, you get this nice little bit of music that starts playing and whatnot, sort of like a level theme. And I would like to do something like that, basically so that music serves as a reward for exploration. So whenever you complete a puzzle, whenever you enter a room for the first time, or whenever you enter a threatening area, maybe music starts to play. And I actually had that set up like 2 years ago with the 6 songs that I had from my one composer. And I need to get more music and actually start implementing it. But it's an issue of finding a composer and making sure that we interact and properly work together. Um, Anywho, let's see. And I guess I always like to ask these, or ask this of my viewers. Are you guys, are you still in Taleron Delphine? Is it Tolerone or Tolerone? Toleron Delphine. One of these days I will get it. Um, are you guys game developers, or do you just like to watch development streams on Twitch? I usually ask how you got here, but I know how you guys got here. So, okay. Why are you not lerping? Or jittering? Or rumbling, whatever we want to call it. Hmm. So, I'm kind of wondering if for some reason it's not actually even getting down here. But that would be really weird. I'm going to put a debug into the actual while loop. So I'm going to say debug.log test2. And if we see test2 coming out a lot, then we'll know that it should be jumbling, but it's not because of something else. And it could be the fact that maybe whenever on change happens, it don't know, it like forces a weird refresh. That doesn't really make sense, but it could be a case. Like I said, I'm not an expert on TextMesh Pro's event system and accessing its own individual text characters and their information. Not yet. We have just started dabbling in the stuff this past week. So, let's see. Ask about game. We're getting a lot of test twos. Okay. But not a lot of jumbles. Okay. Interesting. I wonder why. Sort of a hobbyist, still trying to learn a few things. That's cool. What are you working on? Just if you don't mind me asking. Do you have a specific genre that you like to do? You like, starting out 2D platformer? Do you do adventure games? First person? What have you? Let's see here. So this is really weird. Put a debug in here. Debug.log. No jars. Shazam. Compile. Okay. Ask about. I can't say ask about self. Ask about rocks. Okay, well, so it's not that the characters aren't there, so we don't get this. Well, and what's the problem? Is it the character count? That'd be weird. Character count. Let's get rid of test 2 and test 1. We know that they happen. So at this point, we're just kind of trying to figure out when exactly the vertex animation actually kicks in. Because I'm a little worried that maybe this vertex animation is being overridden by the typewriter effect, because they're both using TextMesh Pro's inner systems. So they could be fighting, which would be kind of annoying. I don't know what I would do to fix that. All right. So test that out. Ask about game. Okay, so it's always 49. That's not it then. I'm willing to bet it's probably crud. That's no good. Let's see, speak section, initialize, applied effects, initialize effects. Text change has text change. Oh, we're not doing anything special there. Do we even need that? No, I guess we do. Alright. Okay. Don't need the book section open anymore. Well, I'm not entirely sure what to do here. Let's see where else it might happen. Character count. Okay, we know that that's true. Well, we know that that's not doing anything stupid at the very least. Char count. Char info. Char visible. Maybe it's this? Alright, let's go ahead and say debug.log test. And I'm actually going to put in a break here. So this is going to be really fun. We're going to say, oh man, it's going to happen like every time, isn't it? Okay, I think we'll actually change that. We'll put in a debug break here. So debug.break. So So this will pause the editor, and we'll be able to step through and see these logs come out as they should, basically frame by frame. So I'm going to go ahead and put a debug here, .log, call it test1. If I could type test1 inside of the actual quotes, make this test2. All right. And so while this is going on, I guess I need to give you guys an update on the overworld status. So I've been overhauling the overworld for TextQuest for the past like 3 months, 4 months now. Oh god, it's almost been 5 months, hasn't it? At any rate, the woods are almost done. I have been holding off on combat for a while because Unity 2017 is around the corner, and they're supposed to be shipping with Timeline, which I would like to integrate into the combat system. Mostly, I would like to integrate Cinemachine and Timeline as well, because Cinemachine is actually pretty cool, and I feel like that could give us some more of those dynamic action shots for combat, or at the very least, make it feel cooler. So let's go ahead and say ask about game. Ask about. Okay. Ask about. Huh. Oh, right, I broke. Okay. I thought, nothing, huh? That's interesting. That's because we debug broke. This is interesting. Okay. Yep. Yep, 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 yep. Yep. So let's go ahead and step through. That's interesting. Oh, right. The jitter happens every tenth of a second, basically. Um, so it's not going to happen every frame, but it still should jumble these guys because they're visible. Why would it not do so? And then there. That's where we get our first jumble. Huh. Okay. So let's take out that debug break. And let's get a look at this. Alright. So we can't, I was going to say we could probably just take out this line on, don't animate it if it's visible, but I don't think we could do that because I don't think it has geometry if it's not visible, so that won't work. Jeez. Why would you... Let's go to our speak section real quick. Reveal characters. So I'm going to force a mesh update, and... So... excuse me. It's a long day today. I mean, they both force the text component to update, but I wouldn't think that would break anything. Because all this is really doing, the reveal characters stuff, which is giving us that typewriter effect, it basically forces the mesh to update, and then it sets the amount of characters in the text component that's visible to 0, and then we just sort of iterate that up one at a time based on how long we want the typing to take effect, or however many characters we want. So I don't really know why the ones that are visible aren't being animated. Because by all logic, what should be happening is as the typewriter types everything out character by character, the existing characters should rumble, but that doesn't seem to be the case. What seems to be happening is that the speak section is basically forcing the characters to stay in line and not move until it's done, which is really weird to me. And I almost think that it must have something to do with this cached mesh info stuff. Why though? Like maybe no, that doesn't make sense. Maybe something about this mesh info vertex data is basically just saying you can't move. That'd be super weird though. So we get our vertices, get our angle. We'll range X and Y. We adjust our matrix, which is fun. But I don't see anything that would actually cause it to not animate. Well, no. I was gonna say maybe it's updating, and in order to update, it's just taking as long as it needs. But that doesn't make sense because once this for loop ends, it should come down here and then update. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Huh. Labels. I don't update geometry. I don't know. I don't suppose that anyone watching has messed around with TextMesh Pro vertex animation, has they? Have they? Has they? That was terrible grammar. Which is great because it's not like I'm making a game that requires good grammar. Because I mean, I could try to force the geometry to update right away. But I don't think that would really do much. Oh, is this actually in start? Oh god. That really should move to okay. I'm gonna actually move that because this is happening in start right now, which is not correct. I must have done that just as a test case. Okay, there we go. So great. I guess I can try pausing it and see what debug information I can pull out of TextMesh Pro. Let's see what we can do. All right, so we'll say ask about game, and we're gonna have to pause like right away. All right. So UI view container input root output scroll area speak section, and we have our label. Now I thought that we could set up. Okay, maybe not. Thought that we could tell it to debug somehow in here, but I guess I was crazy. Huh. I thought that there was a debug option. Alright, I must have been thinking of something else in TextMesh Pro then. Huh. Well, I could try debugging the actual editor, see what I can get out of this. Oh my goodness, this is going to be quite a long list, isn't it? TextMesh Pro. It's cool, but there's a lot to it. Let's see here. Less character of line, less visible character of line. And again, iterating through this doesn't cause them to jumble. Well, not entirely sure what else to do. We might jump ship to a different text effect then. That's disappointing though. I mean, it looks right. That's actually kind of what I was hoping for in terms of Rumble. It sucks that it types it out and then it rumbles. I can't tell it to I just do it right away. Oh, oh well, we'll have to live with it for now. I'll have to dig into the TextMesh Pro forums and see if I can get anything. Let's see. Any other text effects that would be interesting tonight? Where am I applying the rumble? So, the rumble is what I call a text effect, and that's what this text effect rumble is doing. And basically what happens is whenever an input section, which is just any sort of this grouping of strings, pops up, it has text effects that could be applied to it. And this is the actual rumble code right here. So we have a coroutine that is basically whenever the text effect is told to apply itself, it's going to look at all of the labels associated with it. And if I guess I should actually debug this still. So these are our labels. There's only one. Most of the time, there's only ever going to be one label, which is this speak section label. It should iterate through all of the chars one by one, and then try to apply this rumble effect to it. But the problem is that I don't know why I stopped playing. I could have just made another one. When we first type things out, so if I say ask about game, you'll see that it's going to do a typewriter effect, and it's smooth. And then once the typewriter effect is finished, it starts to rumble. But what it should be doing, and by all rights, the debugs that I'm throwing in there are saying that it's doing it. It should be rumbling as soon as you start typing. Oh dear. What is up with that? That's probably because I'm guessing it's not very performant. Oh my goodness, what is happening? The game just tanked in frame rate for some reason. I would assume that's actually got something to do with all of that vertex animation, but insult self. Okay, so that's all fine. Sorry, slight weird thing. I don't know what that's about. You know what I bet's happening? I bet that every time we rumble like this, it's saying that it's a new, or it needs to rebuild. No, that's weird. Why would it do that? That can't be right. It's just weird because we had this stuff kind of like slow down my mouse cursor after a while. Anyway, so this is the actual code for our rumbling. We loop through all of our labels, which are TextMesh Pro UGUI labels. We get the character information from them. We set up our vertex animations, and then actually, I wonder. Yeah, okay. That's something I really should have thought of. I think that we're trying to pull all of the vertex animation from the same, basically, vertex bits of data. That's really weird. I would have expected it to throw an error. What? Are you just telling me that we assume that we'll never have more than 1024 characters? Pre-computed angle raises speeds for a bunch of characters. I guess that's the case. Okay. That's odd. Shouldn't you be applying the rumble effect as the typewriter rate? See, that's the thing, is that I am technically on the code side. It should be doing that, but something in TextMesh Pro is fighting it. Because if we throw in a bunch of debug logs, for example, like let's not do it in the while true. Let's just do it right here. If I throw in like debug.log test, or you can see these test 1 and 2, which those actually might have been what was causing the slowdown. You can see that when we interact with it and actually have the typewriter effect start, that debug log will come out, which means that it thinks that it's doing the rumble, or at the very least the rumble effect is trying to do it, but it could be that something inside of TextMesh Pro is fighting with it, basically. So it won't let the rumble happen until the typewriter effect is finished. Um, so ask about game. So you can see that the test logged out, but it's still smooth until it finishes, and that's what's weird. Because I want it to do that. I want it to do exactly what you said, where the rumbling should happen as it iterates through the string. But for some reason, it's not. It seems like the characters are locked down until the typewriter effect is done. Um, and there's nothing. How many times does it log out? It should only log out once. I just put it at the front of that. I mean, if I put it inside of this while loop, it's just always going to do it. So, because and that was the other thing is we did this a little bit ago. We stuck a debug loop or a debug log in there and saw that it is calling it, which means that it should be updating the geometry. But my guess is that something about it just isn't actually allowing the rumble to happen until after the typewriter effect. So ask about, not agound, about rocks. So you can see that it was happening. Here, let me clear out. And oh right, clear does that. Why do I make clear do that? I should make clear not do that. Ask about game. So you can see if you look over here in the console, after I hit enter, we have maybe a second, but you can see that it is logging out test while it's typing. And then but it still doesn't actually update the character positioning, which is what's weird. So I kind of think that the text like reveal effect is basically overriding the rumble effect. So every time the rumble effect tells it to basically rumble and try and adjust, the the text reveal effect smashes everything back down to their base point. And then that's why once the text reveal is done, the rumble can behave as normal. Um, it should be calling it between each letter and debugging per the length of the string if you're debugging applying rumble properly. Well, the rumble I think has an arbitrary delay right now. It has an arbitrary delay of 0.1 seconds. Um, Although I could put the debug in there in between each character just to see what it's doing there, which I think I tried. So let me go ahead and we'll put it here after the char is visible. Say debug.log char info dot say character. Yeah. So that's going to tell us the letter that's being affected. Now, something to remember is that if the character is not visible, then it doesn't have geometry, which means that we can't manipulate it. So we do have to have this check here, and we can't just rumble things in the background. We do actually have to have them be visible. But with this debug in here, we should be able to basically see those characters update as it goes, even with the 0.1 arbitrary second delay. But putting it after that that visible check will at least ensure that we're not getting false positives. Like it's not going to just spit it out for every string or every character. So let's go ahead and say ask about rocks. Okay. So it zipped through there. Let me go ahead and clear and try it again. All right. We're going to say ask about rocks, and I'm gonna basically pause as soon as I do this. All right. Oh, that's interesting. So it looks like for one frame, everything is there. Or at the very least, it interprets it as everything being there. But then immediately after that, okay, so we have quote well, comma rocks a. That's probably fine because the re I'm guessing came afterwards. And I'm fine with the rumbling not quite matching up right now. In the sense of like it's not going to be perfectly on the end where the characters are going to rumble. We're probably going to get a little bit of like hiccuping, sort of like rubber banding for the time being. Once we do actually get this functioning, I'm fine with that. That's a fine tuning thing, but I need to get it to actually rumble from the get go. Um, is there any way to determine the rumble status of individual letters during the typewriter effect? So, excuse me. Um, the the character information is stored in this character info class, or actually, I guess it's even above that. There's a label or text info class which has information on all of the characters, which in turn has information on each individual char. And well, actually, hold on. Come over here to speak section. We're gonna do reveal characters. So reveal characters grabs the text info from the current text component, but all it adjusts is the text info dot visible characters. Oh, excuse me. I believe. Well, and actually, it's not even doing it on the individual text. So the text info is really only useful to grab the amount of characters that we need to reveal, and then the text component, which is just the label, is just having its maximum amount of visible characters updated, which is just an int value from 0 to whatever. But it shouldn't do anything with the actual positioning of the rumble or of the characters, which is why it's so weird because it doesn't really make sense. And speak section, I mean, just to make sure that I'm not doing something really stupid. Like we should be calling applied effects right down here. Perhaps reading the array. Let's see. See that's the thing is it's an int that we're changing on the actual label, and I assume there is an internal array of chars to make that string. I mean that's what strings are really. They're just an array of chars. But TextMesh Pro could potentially be doing something really crazy behind the scenes. It's hard to say. It's a really advanced system when you get down to it. Perhaps reading the array into a temporary list during the typewriter effect and modifying the contents of the list with the rumble would be a way to go. See that's the other thing is that I can't have the rumble effect reference the speak section. I could potentially have the speak section reference the rumble effect. Actually, no, I couldn't do that either. Because these need to be completely separate and self-contained. Really, actually, the speak section, the text reveal stuff, the text reveal should probably be a text effect instead of a part of the actual section code. Because the problem is they need to be completely self-contained. I might have speak sections. Actually, I know I definitely will have speak sections that won't have the rumble, and I might have the rumble not be on a speak section. So I can't have them really reference each other because there's no guarantee that they're always going to be together. So it's hard to come up with a solution. That means that everything needs to be solved within its own script, which is where it gets interesting. Because by all rights, it seems like it should be working, but I don't quite know why it's not. But yeah, true. I haven't used it in a long time. Yeah, well, it's free now. So if you're doing anything with Unity, I would recommend getting it because it is way better than Unity's text system. And you can do cool stuff like this, or rather, you can try to do cool stuff like this and then fail miserably. But at least, hopefully, someone's laughing. That's what happens when I say accidentally to pray to the number gods at the beginning of the Devstream. All right, let's see. What else can we do? I mean, we could try to debug all of these values, basically. Like everything from the char's positioning. Actually, let's do that. So, let's debug the information for the char R, because I believe that should show up. So I think the response to ask about rocks is, well, rocks are geological formations. So I'm going to say if char info dot character is equal to R. And we will say debug dot log R. That way we know that it's updating at least. And then let's try to get pre-computed animation data for the given character. See, this... I kind of feel like I should be able to specify this array as a fixed size. I don't think it needs to be freaking 1024. That just seems insane to me. But then again, who knows? As you said, it has to be visible to apply the rumble. It's almost like it won't apply the rumble to the string until the entire string is visible. Right, and that's the thing, is that it should do it per char if the char is visible. And we debugged some of this stuff out before to make sure that like our character count wasn't for some reason coming back as 0 because the whole string wasn't actually finished, but it was coming out as 49, which is, I believe, correct for the sentence that's output. So that was never 0. And it was apparently getting past continue. So that means that it's not just skipping all the calculations. But I don't quite know why it would mesh info.length. This is interesting. What if that's 0? Hold on. Debug.log label info of i.meshinfo.length. Okay. I'm curious to see if that's right where you're playing. I'm curious to see if that's coming out of 0. If that's the case, then that would mean that it just wouldn't ever push any changes because it would say there's no mesh data to update. I don't know if that's going to be it, but it's worth a shot. So let's say ask about game 1. And it's always 1. Okay, so that's not it. So it's always 1, which means that we will at least hit this for loop once, and everything should work. Yep, nope, that's not going to come out bad. Arg. Why would this not work? Vertex and nim of j. Well, I'm not entirely sure. Because I would think that, I mean, there's nothing that breaks out of this loop. There's nothing besides this continue that should skip any behavior, and we know that it gets past that continue. Could our matrix be rotating back? Oh, that would be weird. Why would it? Actually, I wonder if this is a similar problem to what we were having with our stealing effect. So let's go back to our custom compile. I command you. There you go. Where are you? View input. Let's come back over here. We're going to add an output modifier. We'll do strike throughs. So something that we were running into was when we have this text effect applied to letters when they're stolen. So if I say read, we should see S characters disappear. That's interesting. It looks like, so turn page. Wait, what? What? Okay. Turn page. Weird. We just have like an arbitrary amount of time. Um, hmm. So I've noticed that there's an offset before the characters actually start animating, and I wonder if it's looping through the entire characters. Maybe it's slow. Like maybe just accessing TextMesh Pro's characters like that is inefficient. Um, but if that was the case, I would expect the fire in the background to kind of like chug, but it doesn't seem to do that. It just seems to take a while. Um, huh. This might be something that just like I have to ask the guy who makes TextMesh Pro because he's fairly active on his forums. Although admittedly, I haven't been on there since he got I guess bought up by Unity. So I'm not entirely sure how responsive he's going to be on those forums, but I can probably post something on there. But you can see that when we turn back, the characters on the left, these S's disappear before the ones on the right, which means that it's sequential. And then if we turn page forward, there's a huge delay on the ones on the left here than on the right, which makes me think that it's actually looping through all of the other labels first, then trying to do these. But again, what it should be doing is looping through each one and then shrinking them all at the same time. And I wonder if this is a similar situation with our other text effect, where it's basically doing one vertex animation at a time. So you can do sequential vertex animations, but you can't do simultaneous, and that would be disappointing. I would really hope that that's not the case. Because again, if we turn back, ones on the left shrink right away, ones on the right shrink after the ones on the left. It's just that is super odd. Actually, just out of curiosity. Oh crap! I can't say ask. Oh wait, no, never mind. I don't have an input modifier, so yes, I can ask about rocks. Look, the S here is not updating. It's getting a strike through, but it's not animating. So yeah, that might actually just be a hard limit. Maybe we can't do. That sucks. So maybe we can't do simultaneous vertex animations. We can only do one at a time. Um, oh man. Oh, that's so brutal. There has to be a way around that, surely. I mean, I can understand why you wouldn't want to do it maybe on principle, because you wouldn't want to say like animate the position of a character multiple times per frame, meaning that you would basically have like frame fighting. But if you're doing different things, then it would kind of make sense because what's happening here, like the rumble is different from the scaling that's being done for the stealing effect. Um, oh man, that sucks. Um, oh man. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to actually reach out to the developer and ask for advice on this, because that is very distressing. The fact that these S's are still here. Um, I mean, maybe I can get around that. Like, out of curiosity, I want to try something. Let's go to speak sections. I'm going to come back down here. And I'm going to do this. So at the end of reveal characters. Hold up. Oh dear. Crap. Then we'll have to say, try this. If effects is not equal null, initialize. Oh. Initialize text effects. So I'm curious. What should happen now is we should get the typewriter effect followed by the stealing effect, followed by the rumble. If everything's sequential like we think. Worst case scenario, we don't get to the rumble if the text effect is, if the stealing effect is somehow not wrapped up completely. Although it should be. I don't think it's always going. So we're going to say ask about rocks. Oh man. Okay. Well, that was actually interesting. Crap. So that actually is good. That tells me something. That tells me that we can do multiple animations at once. So let's clear this again, and we'll say ask about rocks, because you'll notice that the S's were fighting basically. So the S, it tries to shrink, but then it just kind of like snaps back. So that makes me think that we can do simultaneous effects, but it's going to require a lot of self-discipline. Basically, we're going to have to really dig into probably matrices and all of the vertex animation data to make everything be correct. And more importantly, to make it so that they only update the things they need to do. For example, with this with the character rumbling, the only thing that's important is the vertex positions. Whereas with the stealing, what's important is the size, so the scale. Those two things don't affect each other. Well, see, actually the vertex data might be affected by the scaling. And in that case, we might have a problem. Yeah. So, so I need a drink. Okay. Okay. Let's come back over here to the rumble effect. Let's see. So we're getting our vertices, even in an offset, even in a matrix. So can I even see what my char scale is? Let's find out. So char info dot sender aspect ratio baseline bottom left character color to sender element type equals format set. Highlight color index using alternate typeface. Material reference index. Oh no. Oh, scale. Okay, scale. So that's that. Let me go ahead and pull up my steel chars effect. So when the letter is stolen, it's an infinite effect that's not applied every frame, right? Just a transition, and then it's a dash, basically. Yeah. So what it does is it applies a strike-through effect with style tags. That's what's making that dash, that strike-through. And then the actual char is rendered basically at a scale of 0. But it seems like the rumble effect is storing its scale and reapplying it, which is exactly what's happening right here. Um, okay. Yes. Yes, I see. I see. So what if I change this to be, instead of vector 3.1, we did new vector 3 char info dot scale, and I mean we would have to do that 3 times, but I wonder if that would work. So that should essentially scale it. Let's find out. I hope that'll actually work. That would be pretty. Oh, nope. Okay. What did I do wrong? I missed like an extra. Oh yeah, I missed an extra paren. Okay. It would be nice if that would work. Because I assume it was just fighting the scale, which makes sense because we were getting that hiccuping, or I don't know, twitching, however else we want to call it. Let's see. So let's go about rocks. Ah, so close! It seemed to shrink down smoother, but then it kind of broke. Um, hmm. So that won't work. Crap baskets. Um, let's go to steel chars here. Because I think the steel chars actually does a. Yeah. It does a similar thing with a matrix 4x4, where it basically lerps between scale of 1 and scale of 0. But. So that must mean that the char information is not actually updating, which is not really ideal. Oh man, do I need to have? Oh jeez, I I might need to do something like have a central repository for all of the chars on a given text effect, and then basically I can have each text effect reference this. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. I would have a script that basically keeps track of all this per label, and then any changes that need to be made would be made through it. That way, all other text effects could reference it. Oh man, that would be so nasty. I really would rather not do that. Because I think part of the problem is that we have two text effects, um, rumble effect and steel chars, which is they're both trying to adjust the matrix on each char, and eventually the steel chars one finishes its thing, and goes away, and that's when rumble effect here just comes in and is like, well, haha, you're now going to be the scale that I want you to be. Um, and I'm guessing that the char info doesn't actually update because we're not actually changing the chars. The string isn't changing, so it's not going to do anything. Crud. Yeah, that's not gonna work too well, is it? Dang it. I don't suppose I could try to like pull that information out of the mesh. No, probably not. Ah, wonderful. Um, oh man. Yeah. Yeah. Great. Ah, jeez. Yeah. I'm not sure what to do about this. Is that the only place that Rumble accesses scale? Yeah, it should be. Um, Most likely, this is the final sort of calculation for everything, where we actually affect the matrix. Hence why we have TRS, which is transform, rotate, or translation, rotation, and scaling. And this is what's actually affecting the rendering of the characters. So we need some way of this vector 3 basically being consistent, but I don't think we can get the char info scale unless we tell it to basically rebuild manually. But we can't really do that on Rumble Effect because it's not going to know. And again, we can't have Steel Char's reference Rumble Effect. So we need to have basically like a refresh. Jeez. All right. I'll do that. Okay. So I'm gonna make this protected. Copy this. We're gonna paste it in the original script. So in text effect. Paste you here. It's not gonna do anything in the base text effect class, but it will be useful. Excuse me. In the child classes. I mean, I can. Uh, so we want probably in Rumble effects. Let's come down here, and let's just debug it right here. Debug.log char info.scale. Oops. .scale. And I will also put in char info dot character plus. And for the sake of our sanity, I will also say if char info, come on, char info dot character is equal to lowercase s, because only s's are going to be affected by this, so might as well not have it debug all that information when we don't need it, like we're doing up here. Get rid of that. Just so it doesn't clutter our console view with stuff that we're not particularly interested in. Let's go ahead and clear that out. Play, which will only take about 2 centuries while the scripts compile. And okay, so it works there. Let's say ask about game. So it looks like it was at 9135. Was it ever at 1? It was curiously enough never at 1. I'm guessing that it's just because maybe it initialized slightly after the S started to shrink, which explains why the S's look kind of small, at least comparatively to the other characters. Um, I think what actually does just have to happen is God. Man, it's so inefficient. Okay. Hold on. Input section. A. Public virtual void refresh. Capital R. Refresh effects. And okay, yeah, I do have applied effects, so that's good. So all that's going to do is just say for int I equals 0, I is less than applied effects dot count I plus plus. We will say text effect. Has text changed? Do I have a refresh? I will probably have a refresh effect. So we're going to say public virtual void refresh effect. And that's just going to say has text changed is equal to true. Come back here and we're just going to say applied effects dot of I dot refresh effect. Okay, and then let's come back up here to steel chars. I'm really not going to like this, but I am going to have to deal with it, and I'm going to say, what do I call it? Section. That's a good thing that I added that stuff. Section.refresh effects. So basically, now steel chars is going to force any other text effects that are on the same label as it to refresh and say rebuild all of your text info. Maybe that'll help. This is why I don't use many packages and libraries. I don't fully understand every aspect of. No, I am right there with you on most things, but TextMesh Pro really is cool. And considering that my game is text, I want it to have as many cool text-based things as possible. So certainly it's better than me trying to come up with this entire system on my own. As much as I would have liked to have, I can't do that in addition to doing the actual development. Ask about game. Okay. Oh no. Well, that's no good. Everything shrank. Okay. Crap. And curiously enough, our scale is actually still wrong. Oh dear. Dear, oh dear. Why is it still wrong? That's so weird. Great. Maybe it should just be vector 1. Try that again. See if that actually changes anything. I'm curious if that means that the letters won't shrink or if everything will actually be correct. It didn't even hit. See, that's the thing is I think the S's actually did hit 0, but everything else stopped prematurely, which is fine. It was probably a floating point error, I'm guessing. That wonderful thing where it thinks that it's close enough that it's just like, whatever. So ask about game. Yes! Sort of. Everything seems to be jittering. Oh, that's no good. Crap. So we got the simultaneous scaling to work. Hooray! And then, of course, immediately, as soon as I was happy, I was immediately sad again. And the characters, you'll notice, are rumbling around their odd rumble offsets now. They're not actually rumbling around their center. That's probably because the when we force them to refresh, they're going to sample their existing positions and try to use that. So, great. I have to come up with a better solution than that. Or I have to cache all of that crap. Oh, jeez. It's going to make me cache all of that, isn't it? Oh, man. So I mean, we got it to work. That's the good part. So if I type ask, you'll see that it's going to shrink the S's. That's fine. The characters, everything else is fine. But yeah. So what's happening is that it's sampling the character positions whenever I tell it to refresh, which is unfortunate because that means that when it refreshes, it's basically going to think that the offset positions are the original positions that it's trying to do the animations from, which I can't really have it do, which means that I need to find a smart way of changing those values without affecting the baseline. So actually, I might have an idea. I might have an idea for this. Hold on. Rumble effect, come up here. Where's the refresh? It's right here. So maybe instead of doing this straight copy into the original field, I'm going to do, what does it return again? It's TMP mesh info. So TMP mesh info is equal to, it's going to be this. And then at the very end, we'll say is equal to mesh info. And in between there, why are you not happy? Oh, right. We're going to have to do this. For int j is equal to 0. J is less than mesh info dot length plus. Yep, that's exactly right. I'm going to I'm going to cache the original position and try to apply it here, and hopefully that will do it. So we're going to say mesh info of j dot. Now let's see what our options are. Crap. It doesn't have an offset. It's using actual vertex information. Oh, that's such a pain. Oh, man. Oh, that's such a pain. How do I do this then? So, no, don't need that. Those are just numbers. I think what I need is the mesh info. No, that doesn't make sense. I should be able to apply it directly to the vertex or vertices. Ah, that's brutal. I am not entirely sure what to do here, actually. It's probably using the vertices to determine things like size and scale and whatnot. Man, that sucks. I was really hoping that we could have like an offset or something, but I don't think I can do that. Dang it. Well, oh jeez. I'm gonna have to compare arrays, aren't I? Ah, wonderful. Okay. Oh my god, this is gonna suck so hard. Great. Because I think since everything in mesh info is an array, so if I just do mesh info of j, we get colors, normals, tangents, triangles, vertexes, vertices. All of those are arrays. And I think what I have to do is I have to loop through every array and set the value to be the original value. Unless... No, yeah, no. Well, nope. Ah, crap. I can't set it to be the original values because the characters that are shrunk would be incorrect. I can't set it to be the new values because the characters that are not shrunk would be incorrect. I can't determine what value to change because it would. I don't know how to determine what needs to be changed. Ah. Okay. Um, this is what I was talking about, by the way, when I said I might need to have a central area that stores all of this. Crap. Let me think. Jeez, I don't know what to do here. You can check which characters are shrunk and only change one. See, that's the thing is I can't. What it looks like is happening here. So this is the information that I have access to: colors, normals, tangents, triangles, vertex counts, and vertices. Um, but none of that is actual scaling related. And again, to be fair, even if it was, I couldn't really act on that because things might not scale. And again, we don't want to have the rumble effect be tied to the steel chars effect. And it's just, crap. There has to be a way to do this. Well, copy mesh info vertex data. Let me see what I can do here. Labels of I dot text info dot. I can do a reset vertex layout. Anything else? Clear unused vertices. Nope. Jeez. Yeah, I'm not. There's no way to determine. See, that's the thing is that I can determine which characters do get stolen. That's part of the steel chars effect, but I can't determine that in rumble effect because rumble effect is not always going to be paired with steel chars effect, and steel chars effect will not always be paired with rumble effect. So they can't know about each other. They have to be able to act completely independently of one another. Um, so the only way I think I can get around this is basically have a script that is on the label that every I guess I could actually just make it. Well, no, it probably needs to be per label. Um, so a script that's on each label that has this mesh info in it, and whenever something adjusts that mesh info, it can push those changes up to that one script that will then call refresh on every other text effect so that the other text effects can pull that stuff in without needing to know exactly what they need to update, because this whole thing that I'm trying to do won't really work, because I would be looking for scaling specifically, for example. But then what happens if I have another effect that doesn't do scaling but does like offset, and then I want the offsets to be correct but not the scaling. Like that all has to change. So um okay. Well, okay. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and put this back to the way it was. So right here. All right. So I'm going to stick a to-do in here because it's been 2.5 hours on the stream and it's getting a little late. So I think what I'm going to do is I need to have a central like class with text info per label. So I'll mess around with this after the stream. but I think the idea is that I am going to have one class basically on each TextMesh Pro label that has a reference to all of its text info, um, and can store it, or rather cache it, then have that stuff be updated. That way, whenever we update any of that text information, one, actually that's going to be beneficial, I think, in the long run, because it means that we won't have like potentially a dozen text effects. I doubt we'll ever get that many on one thing, but still, potentially a dozen text effects all generating all of these arrays. And instead, there's going to be one script that generates all of these arrays and just can have that one array referenced. Then we never have to worry about updating things, because basically what we would do is anytime a text effect changes, like an offset or a vertex or something, it pushes that information back up to the central area, at which point other text effects are told to refresh and pull from that array again, and then everything can continue on as expected. That actually might even solve our typewriter problem, maybe. We'll find out. So, yeah. So it's a decent place to stop for the night. Didn't get everything done that we wanted to, which is, a little bit of a shame, but we did get rumbling working, and we learned a lot about the TextMesh Pro vertex animation system, which is part of the goal today. I'm going to try to get some screenshots, see what I can do. But yeah, that's going to be a bit of a nasty beast. I think it's going to keep us occupied for a while. So ask about so take a screenshot. Hello, open mailbox. Cool concept. Well, thank you. Welcome to the Devstream, by the way. It is a first-person text-based adventure. Literally. But yeah, so I think we're going to need to have some sort of centralized area that has access to all of that array information. And then all text effects will just be able to pull from that. So it kind of sucks just because, input sections would always have those arrays being generated, even if they don't need them. But at the same time, it means that we'd only get one array generated per input section instead of, however many per text effect. But takes me back to old school mudding. Yep, that's part of the idea. Definitely wanted to do that parser-based interface, just because it's not something that really gets done in modern games anymore. At least not very well. So, it'll probably free up some performance by not trying to override effects on letters that wouldn't display them anyway. Right, and I think that's going to be my goal, is to basically, by moving it into a single array per label. I think I'm going to have to do it per label. I can't really do it like just per anything, because, for example, the books, these are 2 labels, and then if I read more and I happen to get a long book, so this is 2, page 4, 6. This is 6 different labels, and they all have their own individual information that they need to hold, so I have to do 1 per label. But that's fine, because again, that would be 6 arrays for any effect, as opposed to 6 labels that have to have a single array per text effect, which is what's happening currently. So that'll definitely help in terms of garbage, and it will hopefully allow everything to sort of keep on track. But we'll see how that ends up panning out. That is kind of disappointing. I'm sorry, everyone. I failed you. I tried to get all the vertex animation stuff done tonight, but of course that was a fool's errand. Well, I mean, that's probably a good place to stop for the night, at least. We did get vertex animations working. We did get rumble working. Ask about rocks, and we got simultaneous rumble or simultaneous text effects working, which is the really cool thing. Sure, they don't work well, yeah, but they do work. So, get another screenshot of that. trying to think, do I have anything else related to announce tonight? Not off the top of my head. So I think that's a pretty good place to stop for the night. We should be back on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So we'll definitely be picking this back up again, and hopefully by then I'll be able to have a little bit more in-depth understanding of the animation system. Hopefully I'll be able to actually talk to the TextMesh Pro guy, whose name I really should know by now because he's a nice guy. I've actually met him a couple of times and I always forget it because I'm bad with names. But yeah, so I think that'll about wrap it up for tonight. So again, should be streaming again Thursday at 7. Be sure to tune in because I'm guessing you're going to be able to hear me grunt and groan as I try to force my way through this and learn it. But yeah, as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.